I'm a diehard Laker fan, but I can admit that we are absolutely atrocious. Like, this team has clearly given up on this season. They are just so lackadaisical. Nobody's even trying anymore. And it's just embarrassing as a Laker fan, as somebody that has grown up, was born and raised in Los Angeles, that watched this team, watched Kobe win championships, Kobe and Shaq even win championships. I grew up with this, right? And it is just pathetic the way that this team is performing. And it is a prime example of why this play-in is terrible, in my opinion. I think this play-in is completely ridiculous because most likely what is going to happen is the Lakers are going to finish as the ninth or 10th seed. They're very likely with the healthy AD, if AD comes back. LeBron and AD are probably going to power their way into the playoffs. They're going to be the 8th seed in the playoffs. They're going to play the Suns, likely get swept, maybe win one or two games. If we get lucky, maybe we make it an interesting series, but most likely we're going to lose to the Suns. But the point is, we're going to make the playoffs as the 8th seed, which is completely unfair. Now, of course, if the Lakers lose in just one game in the play-in, then this whole theory goes out the window. But even if they do, let's say they lose to the Pelicans in the first round of the play-in, still, the point is the opportunity to make the playoffs as a team this terrible that isn't even trying, that very likely will be 5 to maybe 8 games at the best, under 500, should not be allowed to be in the playoffs. There is no way that a team should be able to have an opportunity to be 10 games out of 8th place and have a chance to make the 8th seed. That just is not fair for a team like the Clippers, who are overachieving and doing fantastic. They deserve that spot. They have earned that opportunity to be in the playoffs. And now, if the Timberwolves, let's say, beat the Clippers, Clippers have to play the winner of the Lakers and the Pelicans. So if the Lakers beat the Pelicans, and let's say they beat the Clippers, now the Lakers are the 8th seed, and the Clippers get basically the shit end of the deal. Like, that's not fair. That's not a fair opportunity. Like, what is the point of even trying to get the 7th or 8th seed if you're just going to be in the play-in? If you're as long as you're in the top 10, then why even try? Might as well just rest your players. Like, what is the point? If you're unless you can confidently make the 6th seed, like, why even try to overachieve? Why even try? It makes no sense to have this play-in for a team that, like the Lakers, very well could get into the 8th seed. I mean, realistically, Anthony Davis and LeBron James are good enough together to where they can win 2 straight games and get them into the playoffs. And not only does that completely mess up the opportunity for these other teams that actually earned it and deserve it, but it also ruins whoever has their draft picks. Because instead of getting, a potential lottery pick, now they end up getting a playoff pick. And it's just, again, it just ruins everybody that earned it, that got in the position to get in, that made the trades, that did the things necessary to put themselves in a proper position. And then you get a team like the Lakers who can just give up on the season because they're going to be in the play-in regardless. So let's just save our energy for the play-in. Like, it's ridiculous in my opinion. And unfortunately, again, LeBron and Davis are very likely going to take the Lakers to the playoffs. They only have to win 2 straight games. LeBron and Davis can have a superstar performance for 2 straight games against the Pelicans and the Clippers or the Timberwolves. Now, is it possible they can win, that they can lose? Of course. It's only one game. If a team shoots the lights out or something along those lines, then yes. But realistically, my money's on LeBron and Anthony Davis to win 2 straight games to make the playoffs. And I just don't see the point in having this play-in for these teams. And this is coming from somebody that is a Laker fan that wants and hopes the Lakers make the playoffs every year and win a championship. I mean, once you get into the playoffs, this entire team was built for the playoffs. Once they get into the playoffs, it's a whole new season. Who knows what's going to happen? As terrible as the Lakers are, maybe everyone wakes up and they just go, hey, now it's time to play. And who knows? Maybe they upset the Suns. And maybe, hypothetically, they win the championship. Oh my God, I would be so happy, of course, because I'm a Laker fan. But guess what? They didn't earn it. That's not fair. Let's say the Lakers win the championship this year. Of course, I'm going to be ecstatic. I'm going to be happy because I am a Laker fan. And a championship is a championship. However you got that chip, you got that chip. I don't believe in those whole well, it was circumstances, yada, yada, yada. Of course, there are always asterisks next. You can make an asterisk for anything. But the point is, they didn't deserve to be in the position to win that championship regardless. And that's my point. Like, if you're going to have a play-in, be more creative. Do another type of tournament where you win a different type of trophy, or do something along the lines of take the 6 worst teams in the NBA, let them play each other in a single game elimination. The winner of the whole tournament gets the number 1 pick. It removes the incentive of tanking. You want to be, you want to be somewhere in the 6 or top 8 teams, let's say, and you have the 8 best teams and they're playing for the championship, and you have the 8 worst teams and they're playing for the the number 1 pick. And now you have that incentive. I just think that there's other ways to go about this play-in other than just from a NBA standpoint. It's just more money. That's all it is. And 2 years in a row, you've had the Lakers in it. So, of course, this is just going to be huge bucks for the Lakers. The refs are probably going to want the Lakers to win because, again, more money. So if the Lakers go to a second play-in game, guess what? That's more money. That's more ad revenue. That's more everything. So it's just a mess across the board, in my opinion, when it comes to this play-in, because the Lakers do not deserve to be there. And unfortunately, the Lakers very likely will be there. Now, there is a big part of me that hopes they lose. And it's just like, okay, good. Then they showed that they aren't good enough and they didn't deserve it to begin with. But if they do win it, of course, part of me is going to be ecstatic because I am a Laker fan. And, the fan in me is going to be like, yes, we're in the playoffs. We have a real opportunity. Here we go. Let's do it. But there's that little thing in the back of my mind that's just like, they don't deserve to be here, and they shouldn't be here. The team that should be there is the team that earned it, that got over 500, that worked hard to make the playoffs without their 2 best players. And we've had pretty much 2 of our 3 best players the entire season, and we can't even be an 8th seed or a 7th seed in the West. It's just sad and pathetic. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I want to hear from you. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Do you think the Lakers don't deserve it? Do you think the Lakers do deserve it? Do you think, hey, if you win the playoff game, you're dealt the cards that you have. You play the hand. If you end up winning the hand, well, then there you go. You did what was necessary, which I understand that too. The Lakers didn't design the play-in. They didn't say we should have a play-in especially for us. It just happened. And if they win those games and they make the playoffs, then yes, of course they earned it in that sense because they just played the hand that was dealt and they won. That's not their fault. But I just think that the whole play-in idea is it's not a good idea because of this reason. Because of this. I understand you get a real opportunity to have one of the lesser teams try to get into the playoffs, but I just don't think it's a good idea. I mean, we saw it even last year in the play-in. You had 3 teams that were 5 to 7 games under 500 that had an opportunity to get in. It just didn't make any sense. But anyway, let me know your thoughts. If you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, followed by the bell notifications. Stay up to date with all things sports. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.